Happy World Book Day. That's why I'm wearing ears. I thought I would dress up as Luna's mum today. She technically does wear a pink jumper, but I mean, she might have other jumpers in her wardrobe. Now, if I look a little bit on the yellow side, do not be concerned. It's because I was going to wear face paint and I had got about halfway through putting it on and realised that I was looking more like a clown than a leopard. So I tried to wash it off, but I don't know what they've put in it. It just completely stained my face and my hands bright yellow, so now I look like a minion. But it's just been one of those days, to be honest. There was a road closed on my way back from work. And then, you know, when your sat-nav just keeps taking you back ways that's also closed and you're going down all these sketchy lanes, and then there's like a heavy goods vehicle that's stuck. And then I was just trying to plug in my phone this week so that it doesn't run out of battery. And my phone fell over, and then by the time I put everything back, I noticed that my microphone was just in my tea. So that doesn't work now. So I've just got the microphone box literally here. So if you can see something there, or if you see any flashing light, see it flashing, it's because I've not got the little microphone attachment. It had a bath. So yeah, just one of those days where the odds are against me. But I'm here, I persevere. But anyway, yes, Happy World Book Day. For those of you that are new to the channel, hi, I'm Emma. I have written and illustrated, with the help of my daughter Lily, 2 books in the Luna the Space Leopard series. I'm trying to think what's the right way around for you. That's the first one, that's the second one. That's Why I'm a Leopard. I've decided to draw a sort of World Book Day themed piece of art. And I was going to order some more alcohol markers because I had tried to test those in a previous video. So it was these ones, but I didn't have very much luck with them. But afterwards, my friend did comment saying that I should buy the pastel set. So I had a little look online. I'd already spent about £25 on these, and the pastel ones seem to be even more expensive. I guess maybe they're more in demand. But then, while I was looking through those, these popped up and they were half price at only, I think it was £3, at a mere £3.03. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna get them instead. But then I also got the regular ones as well, because these were also half price. So they were, actually, I think they were better than half price. They were supposed to be £9.29, but they were £3.51. So I was like, do you know what? For £6.50, I can have all of these, and I'll just make a video with felt tip pens, because not everyone can afford to spend hundreds of pounds on pens. Because people must have. You go on TikTok and they have whole massive walls of them. They must have spent hundreds of pounds on these pens. So I'm doing a budget version today, and we will compare and see what the difference is. Are alcohol markers really that much better that you can justify the cost of them? We shall see today. Oh, also, last week I forgot to mention, I forgot to actually say what I thought about the pens that I was testing last week. I think I just got so excited about the alien plants that I kind of forgot that I was testing pens. So last week I was testing these acrylic markers, and yeah, I thought they were okay. They weren't as, like the opacity, they weren't as painty as I thought they were going to be. They were a bit more watercolory, but, and also I had quite a lot of problems with the lids not corresponding to the actual colour of the paint. And we got around that by painting the lids, so it was easier to find the right colour, but they were still fun to use. And actually I ended up using one of the alien plants in one of my illustrations. I'll quickly show you that now. So yeah, the spinning wheel, the random spinning wheel actually came in quite useful. So I might have to do that again for something. Okay, so I actually made a few colour swatches of all of the pens that I've been using, so I can show you the differences between them. So this was the alcohol markers. So as you can see, they are very solid, even colours, but I did use the thick end of the pens, the thick end, so I could just do them in one motion. So that kind of did help with the whole evenness. But as you can see, it does kind of go through. Yeah, so they were £21.99 for 40 markers off Amazon. And they were the ones that I didn't have much luck with in the video where I tested them out. Okay, so then this one is the acrylic markers that I used last week for the alien plants. So as you can see, the opacity kind of varies quite a lot. So that one there looks very, it looks very kind of watercolourish, whereas other ones, like that one, it's got a bit more opacity. I don't know if that's the right word. Like there's a lovely selection of colours and I got on okay with them. I was just kind of expecting them to be more painty, like acrylic paint. On the pictures, on the box, they've used them on like stones and things, so you'd expect them to be a bit more painty. And I was trying to make sure that I was giving them a good shake and like pushing the nibs in, like the instructions say at the back. I was doing that with all of them, but it just seemed some of them were just more watery than others. I don't know why. When I got those on Amazon, they were £14.98, so basically 15 quid for 48 of them. So I guess they're kind of like a mid-range option. Then these ones are the Crayolas. So this is the pastels. And yeah, they look kind of watercolory. But I mean, as you can see, some of these are quite similar to the more watercolory looking acrylic markers. Whereas the more solid ones of the acrylic markers are almost like the alcohol markers. So yeah, kind of mid-range. But yeah, the Crayolas, I've got quite a nice range of colours to work with there. They do look a little bit streaky, but like I said, I had to kind of go over those a few times to get such a big square. Whereas with the alcohol markers, I could just do it in one motion. So that's what I'm using today and how it compares. So the question is, what am I going to draw today? Well, I actually already drew out my picture. I've just done like a rough outline and I did that this morning before the school run. Yes, I get up ridiculously early. So I actually drew it out on my tablet first because whenever I'm creating a composition, I just find it easier. But I do also like the hand-drawn approach. So I worked out my composition on my tablet and then I sketched it out onto here. I did want to do that in the video, but I've only got about 3 hours to film, and it was a good job that I did it this morning because it ended up taking just over 2 hours, believe it or not. And then obviously everything with the road closures set me back. So it was a good job that I did do it. So what's going on here? So I wanted to draw Luna since she is the original character of the book, but I've gone back a couple of years. It's kind of set before the books. So she's probably about 4 or 5 here, and she's climbed a tree because she loves nature and she always dreams about exploring space. So she's dreaming there that she has landed on the moon and is putting a flag on it with her good friend Chip, who she hasn't noticed he was trying to get this cherry and he's holding on for dear life there because he's obsessed with food. I thought that would make it a cherry blossom tree because we've got spring on its way. So yeah, this is my World Book Day themed drawing that I am going to colour in using Crayola. But I have got a little trick with these pens, which you might not have seen before. It's a surprise. So I think I'm going to start off with the pastels. I think you're better to start off with the lightest colours possible and then work your way towards the darker colours. I'm not going to do a background this time because I think that's where I went wrong with the alcohol markers. I think it was going okay until I tried to do a blendy sky. So I'm not going to do the background today. I'm just going to keep that plain. And also I have just drawn it in pencil this time because it smudged when I tried to use fine liner last time. I quite like how these come in a sort of case that you can take them out like that. And I will try and keep them in colour order. I'm going to start with Luna's fur. So as you can see, it is very light. Just checking it's not smudging my pencil work. I think we're okay. So far, so good. I mean, it's not particularly streaky yet. Actually, I quite like that yellow. It's turned out quite nice. What you can do with these is you can kind of layer them up a bit anyway. So if they're a bit light, just go over it a couple of times and it goes a bit darker. Now I'm going to do her blue dungarees. So I'm going to start off with this very light blue. Do you know what? For £3, I think they're coming out quite nicely. Right, I'm going to stop this camera for a little bit and I'm going to crack on and colour this in, and I will put some nice music and speed it up. My son James keeps telling me off because he says I talk too much. He likes to watch the bits with the actual art. Here you go, James, this is for you. So I have a paintbrush and I have some water, and if you lightly apply a little bit of water, it's not perfect, but it can add a kind of watercolour wash to it, because obviously Crayolas are water washable. I'm going to go for the tree first. So it's not perfect, but it does help with that kind of slightly streakiness that you get with the felt pens. It kind of helps blend it out a little bit, and it makes it look kind of a little bit more fancy. It's almost a little bit like watercolour pencils, but it's watercolour pens. So I didn't have really very many shades of brown in the pastel pens, but there was a kind of purpley pinky brown and also a kind of grey green, and I just kind of mixed them together. I found that the brown that was in the regular Crayolas was very dark brown. As you can see, I have done that in a few places, just a few little lines, but as you can see, it is much darker brown. But I think I've managed to get by with what was there. And obviously it is a lot more streaky than the alcohol markers, but I think it gives it a little bit of character, especially on the tree. It would have kind of texture to it anyway, so I don't hate it. And just brushing over the water does help just kind of reduce that streakiness a little bit. But you do really want to let each colour dry before you do a colour next to it, because it might bleed into each other. So I'm not going to paint Luna yet. I'll go over to Chip down here. He's probably come out a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of blue roll and just lift some of the pigment away. So that's something that you can do. If you add that bit of water in, then you can lift some of it away. Obviously not all of it, but that's Chip's fur. Let's do his little feet. I've done his feet a little bit too dark pink as well, so I'm going to try and lift some of that back out. Right, let's try and do, I said I wasn't going to do a blendy sky, but I've kind of ended up doing one because she's dreaming about space, and you can't have no sky to space. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm going to go over. And do you know what? I think I've actually managed to blend, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think I've actually managed to blend this sky better than I did with the alcohol markers. I think the watercolour paper helps with blending a little bit because it kind of soaks in and blends, I don't know. So it's not lifting the pen a whole lot, but it does have an effect. It does add a watercolour wash kind of look to it. It almost takes a little while actually. It kind of carries on afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to carry on doing this, and then I will probably get the hairdryer out, make sure it's properly dry. I'll go back over any areas with my felt tip pens, and then I think I'm going to do the outlines with the felt tip pens as well, to like properly test them rather than the fine liner. Okay, so this is all finished. This is the final result. So I mainly used the pastels to colour it in, and then I used the darker colour Crayolas to do the outlines. So like around the brown tree I used the dark brown, and then like around her blue trousers a dark blue. And I think adding the water added a nice effect to it as well. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. I think some of my outlines went a little bit wrong in places, like I think her eyes might be a little bit too big, but with any marker pens really, it's once you've put the pen down, that's pretty much it. So it could have been worse. Oh, I've just realised I haven't done his little motion lines on his feet. That's quite important because he's trying not to fall. So there we go. That's better. There we go. He's got his the little motion lines around his feet now. Yeah, I think it's a nice little celebration of World Book Day. Reading is something that really brings people together, brings families together and sparks everyone's imaginations. I think reading books when I was a kid definitely inspired me to do this now. I especially liked Roald Dahl books, Quentin Blake. I loved The Hungry Caterpillar, and I really enjoy reading books to the kids now, especially like the Julia Donaldson books like The Gruffalo. Yeah, the world would definitely be a much more dull place without books, especially picture books for me. I think me and my kids, we especially love the picture books. And yeah, I think the pens did quite well, to be fair. Like they actually blended okay. There was a little bit of streakiness on the tree, but adding the waters pretty much got rid of it, or it just kind of looks like texture of the wood anyway. I wouldn't say that the sky looks particularly streaky, the night sky. So yeah, I'm quite pleasantly surprised. I think having the pastels really helps. I would definitely advise getting those as well. But yeah, this has been a really good like budget option and has actually come out okay. Obviously, if I'd attempted a blue sky in the background, it might have been a different story, but it's a cloudy day. I think these are a good place to start. I think if you're just thinking of picking up colouring, but you don't want to spend 50 quid on a big set of alcohol markers, these are a brilliant place to start, and they're good fun. And I think they did okay compared to the other pens, really. Now, before I go, there was a colouring competition on my Facebook page over the last month or so, and the closing date was the 1st of March. Obviously, it's not affiliated with YouTube or Facebook. It is my own little competition that I put together. I had removed the colours from one of my illustrations, and the competition was just to colour it in however you wanted to. Everybody put in so much effort. They're all lovely, and I love how everyone used different colours. I assigned them all a random number and chose a number at random, and the winner was, drum roll please, Ada, age 5. I'm quite pleased that that one was chosen because it looks like she's put in so much time and effort and thought into her colouring, but everybody did. And that's why I'm going to finish up this video today with a montage of all of the entries, because they all deserve a moment in the spotlight. So well done everybody, and thank you for taking part. It was just going to be a copy of book 2 as the prize, but I thought, because she put so much work into it, I'm going to send both copies, and me and Lily will sign them and send them to you, Ada. Well done. So yeah, I hope you all had a lovely World Book Day, and I shall leave you with the montage, and I shall see you next week. Bye!